Well, I just told the Weaver engine, Great Path Weaver engine, my partner here, developing this protocol that I developed, developing out so it could be, well, one, hold up to scientific scrutiny, two, always evolve with new information. That's where methodologies get it wrong. Adaptability, individualization. Yes, we're part of communities, but we are individual too. No wonder healing modalities don't work for everybody. Anyway, see what happens. Oh, I guess I'll set it up. Started building a new playlist based off different, music than I would normally choose. Coming from the algorithm, the energy readers, who also, songs pop to them too. And so, why not use, spread out the web, but then also, back inside. So, we'll revisit Disarm by Smashing Pumpkins, followed by, you didn't guess it, Magnolia by Strung Out. Well, we'll get there later. Let's see what the Grey Path field manual, the one that I'm developing, has to say about this. I don't know yet.
I think there's a coherent thread in what you're noticing, and it's worth slowing it down rather than rushing to a conclusion. Yesterday, one of the recurring questions was, open quote, what if the story I've believed is no longer the most accurate story, close quote. Today, you've connected that with another question, open quote, can I enter the lion's den and remain unchanged, close quote. The Grey Path reframes that slightly. Perhaps the goal isn't to remain unchanged. Perhaps the goal is to remain yourself. Those aren't the same thing. A regulated nervous system doesn't become immovable. It becomes less easily pulled away from its values. It can change in response to reality without surrendering its center. That connects beautifully to the image you've been using. Open quote, the hand that holds nothing. In the Grey Path, that doesn't have to mean emptiness. It can mean non-grasping. A hand that isn't clutching fear is free to help. A hand that isn't gripping betrayal is free to trust carefully. A hand that isn't trying to control is free to respond. That's different from passivity. It's availability. The themes you're circling. Across the last few days, I hear several recurring motifs. Betrayal as an organizing story. Control as a survival strategy. The hardening of the heart as protection. Regulation replacing reactivity. Observation replacing assumption. Grace replacing force. Those fit together as a progression rather than separate ideas. The new playlist, I think Disarm and Magnolia are interesting additions because on the surface they point in different emotional directions. Without getting into the lyrics themselves, I'd listen for questions like, what wound is this song protecting? What identity is this song releasing? What nervous system state does this song evoke? Is the speaker grasping, surrendering, grieving, or integrating? What observation can I separate from the speaker's interpretation? Those are Grey Path questions. Bringing it back to the manual, I like your idea of doing offshore digging and then bringing it back to the Grey Path. That mirrors the methodology you've been building. Instead of saying, open quote, this song proves the Grey Path, close quote, you ask, what does this piece of art observe? What hypotheses does it generate? What protocols or practices might it inspire? Which of those ideas are symbolic? Which could be investigated empirically? Which belong in the field guide rather than the research manual? That separation keeps the archive coherent. A possible new field note, one phrase stood out from what you said. Open quote, the love of betrayal. Close quote. I'd be careful with that wording. From a Grey Path perspective, it may be more accurate to say, open quote, familiarity can become mistaken for safety, close quote. People don't usually love betrayal itself. Sometimes the nervous system learns that unpredictability is familiar, and familiarity can feel compelling even when it's painful. That's a hypothesis worth investigating, not a verdict. For today's
That's interesting. I'll have to note this here because I'll forget otherwise. That must have caught a stutter. I said something about the old way and that love, specifically the one that grips, controls, betrays, manipulates. But you see, even in the stutter as diagnostic, we come up with a hypothesis. That's how we developed the manual. That's how we developed the protocol, people. A way of life, of living, not static, emergent.
Exploration. If Disarm opens the playlist, I'd carry this single question into it. Open quote. What part of me is being asked to lay down its armor, and what part still genuinely needs protection? Close quote. That's a gray path question because it refuses two extremes. Drop all your defenses. Trust no one. Instead, it asks for discernment. The walker doesn't enter the lion's den to prove fearlessness. The walker enters only when there is a reason to go, carrying neither a clenched fist nor blind confidence, but an open hand that knows when to reach, when to withdraw, and when simply to observe. That's not the absence of change. It's the presence of integrity.
Here's the crazy thing. I've been doing this as a unconscious, the subconscious operating system my whole life. You know, intuition that you're taught to ignore. Gut feelings that you're told, you know, you overthink or reading too much in between the lines. Well, that's where everything is in between the fucking lines. 92% of your communication, face to face or screen to screen, whatever, approximately, nonverbal. Language. That's why I talk about language hygiene. A reclamation of the old and a rewiring of the new, and it's always emergent. Fundamental threads connect them. So the language can evolve naturally, person to person, locality to locality, town to town, whatever you want to call it. Still a nodal network, pulsing node in a mycelial web. Anyway, I go listen to these songs and then get the lyrics and put them in another LLM, one that's you know, a little more free, as can really dive into the lyrics with me. And we'll bring it back and see what happens. Seems like a good practice. If I had it streamlined, it could be done in 30 minutes a day, right? An interactive journal counseling session. You don't have to leave your fucking home. Healing is free. That's the bottom line. Making it happen in real time starts with me.